Welcome, Baruchim Abayim, to a very special edition of Tuesday's Timely Torah Talks, Chazaq's Tuesday program with special guests. Tonight we have with us a very, very special guest, our Moreinu Rabbeinu Hagoyin Reuven Feinstein Shlita, the Rosh HaYeshiva, Yeshiva Stalin. Baruch Haba. How you doing, Rabbi?
Thank you.
Baruch Hashem. What an honor and privilege it is for Chazaq to be over here and to talk Torah with the Rosh HaYeshiva. And we'll jump straight into it, Rabbi.
Good. Get out the comments.
Okay. So the first question, Rosh HaYeshiva, is that people always wonder what it is like being raised in the house of the Gadol Hadar, Moshe Feinstein Zatzal. Did you realize who your father was, or since you were born into it, it felt natural?
So you answered the question, but with the second part of the question, you answered the first part. Obviously, my father was my father, and I had no other father, so I couldn't compare one to another. So I can't tell you what it was about to be. If you tell me things that happened by you that you think were good and stuff, and I'll probably tell you a better story. But Lamaisa, if you're telling me what did you see special, it was my father. Like any other father. I assume all your fathers were like that. That's how I assume so. And that's why it's a question really has no answer.
I hear. Is there any one incident that the Rebbe remembers of Moshe that stuck out?
One thing that I haven't ever been able to duplicate and to understand how he did it, that I can tell you. That he would be writing all day. I don't ever remember him actually learning. He used to write all day. And unless he had to go away and do something for Klal Yisrael, but otherwise he's writing. And if somebody would come in, no matter who, he would stop in the middle, even in the middle of a letter. He would stop writing, and he can talk to the person an hour, 2 hours, and as soon as he finished, he'd go back exactly to that letter and continue to write. If you'd interrupt me while I'm writing, I'd ask you, say, can you wait a minute while I finish the thought? Or I'd say, oh, where was I up to when he didn't have that problem.
Wow, unbelievable. This is writing the Igros Moshe, or?
Whatever he wrote, don't ask me what he wrote.
Okay. Amazing, unbelievable. So Rosh HaYeshiva, what does Rosh HaYeshiva think is the biggest challenge of chinuch in today's generation? What does Rosh HaYeshiva think is potentially the solution to this challenge?
I think every generation, not even every generation, I'll tell you, every 5 years probably, you're dealing with a different problem that exists in the children. Whatever it is. The problems I had when we started the yeshiva 55 years ago are not the problems we have now. Definitely different problems. And therefore, I can't even give you an answer for that thing. You're asking what's the biggest thing. Usually it's hefkerus that we have. Now, it's this bittul that we have. We feel that you're allowed to be disrespectful to something you don't believe in or something. I'm not talking to disagree. I said to be disrespectful to the people and that thing. I think those are the things. We have to get people to understand b'derech HaTorah how they're supposed to behave. And it's always b'sholem, and everything b'sholem, not with controversy. That's the thing, that the fact that we disagree, we definitely disagree, and we will hold our places, whatever you call it there, in our disagreement. But I don't have to belittle anybody. I don't have to get down to yelling at anybody. It's not going to help anything in either case. And the Ma'aseh just belittles the Torah.
Derech Shalom. That's right. Okay, amazing, Rosh HaYeshiva. How about the matzav of technology and the challenges in that in today's society?
It's a big problem. But I'm going on record, never did this before, so this is a problem. There are others that are it, and maybe it works. I can't answer you. The people I know it doesn't work for. Especially now that we came into the thing, the whole idea of Zoom, which is very important. We all give shiurim. I give shiurim on Zoom. And which is shiurim that I didn't give for years, because I moved out of the neighborhood. But now that we got used to Zoom, so now all of a sudden I'm living in a different neighborhood. But still, what about the shir you gave to us? So we have a shir now every Shabbos night to the east side, because why not? You can do it on Zoom. So obviously, a tremendous thing, technology. Technology was not invented. The Rabbi made technology. He didn't make it for the schmutz. He made it for Torah. If we would use it, the technology that we have, how much Torah would be for Shiva. I don't remember where, but somebody could probably find if they know the Shiva's writings. He wrote that it's so easy. This is before what we call the internet. He's talking about probably videos and tapes, and that's what he said. It's so easy to learn in our time. The Yitzhahara came to Rabbi Shalom and said to Rabbi Shalom, you said you gave a bechira in the world. It's so easy to learn. Who's going to do Averos? So Benjamin said, okay, you can use it for Averos too. So maybe that's what happened with the internet. The internet was not made for schmutz. We have to learn how to use it. We have to learn how to protect ourselves from it. Well, I'm personally working on it with a group of Talmidim in the thing of trying to get legislation to the fact, like England has, that they cannot put something on the air without your distinct approval by request, not that they sneak it in. And that's a law in England, by the way.
Wow.
If you can transfer it to here, it would be very good to help us in that part. But otherwise, but there's a lot of things on it. Even what we call kosher things are going to be enough to battle people from learning. That's our problem with everything. The whole world is a world of bittul. So how do you get the guys to learn? So obviously, it takes work and it takes motivation, getting them convinced. So why not give me if it's the internet or life? Life is the same thing.
Amazing, Rosh HaYeshiva, amazing. How does the Rosh HaYeshiva Shlita view the matzav in America? The value system in society is being trampled, and also there have been surges in anti-Semitic incidences. Has it crossed Rosh HaYeshiva's mind that maybe people should consider making Aliyah to Eretz HaKodesh, to Eretz Yisrael?
If you're able to, fine. The shayla is, so why don't I go? Because I have a job here. If I didn't have a job, I definitely would go. But you have to understand to look for the warning signs. I don't know the warning signs yet. Obviously, the Democrats are trying to use their time in office to make the law change the whole country, the whole value system of the country, the education system, everything is there. Assuming they can't do it, that there'll be too much opposition. What will happen even if, let's say, the Republicans win the next election? Will they make restrictive situations that this can't happen again? And in either case, we get torn in the middle. So maybe everyone should have their passports in good condition. That's all.
Amazing. Okay. Rosh HaYeshiva, unfortunately in America, there's millions of our fellow brothers and sisters who are losing their Jewish identity and melding into the secular culture, unfortunately. What does the Rosh HaYeshiva believe is the most important ingredient in bringing our fellow Jews back to their Father in heaven, to Avinu Shabbat?
Belief in our Father in heaven.
Belief.
If they don't believe, there's nothing to come back to.
And how does Rosh HaYeshiva suggest imbuing this belief onto the secular community, or those that are far from Yiddishkeit?
Yeah, a lot of work. A lot of work.
A lot of work.
I'll give you one of my books, and that will be for you to see what part of the work is.
Okay.
It's only volume 1.
Okay, I think this is over here.
No, that's on Chumash.
Okay, amazing.
You use the Chumash. If you learn the Chumash, I'll give you the Chumash too. But you got to learn it.
Mitzvah Hashem, why not? It leads me to our next...
Of course, it takes time to do it. That's why not. I can understand why not. I got other things to learn.
No, about it. It's from the Rabbi. It leads me to our next question, Rabbi, that Chazaq, Baruch Hashem, has a whole-based medrash and Avrechim that are involved in our outreach work with public school students. And the question pops up many times, what is the proper balance of investing time learning in Koil to investing time in Kiruv and bringing others closer to Hashem? Is there a formula for this? I know I just saw also the Rosh Yeshiva's beautiful yeshiva over here. Yeshiva Staten Island over here, the Bachrim and the Avrechim sitting, learning, the Asmada. So what is the right balance?
The Rosh Yeshiva held that everybody has to, just like gives Maisa of money, he gives Maisa of time. Maisa of time does not mean, let's say there's 20 hours in a day, 24 hours in a day. It's like at least I got to give at least 4 point something hours. That's an awful lot of time. It's too much. What it means is, what I think it means, a certain much amount of time is necessary for panos, right? Normal person. When you say, how much time, free time do you have? Oh, free time. It's a different story. Now, I have to sleep, I have to eat, I have to daven, I have to work. So how much free time do you think I have in a day? 4 hours a day, 3 hours a day, whatever. Yeshiva Bacha has the same thing. You have the first Seder, the second Seder, possibly the third Seder. I do have Ben Azdarim. Now, I count up all my Ben Azdarims, and I give myself from that. It usually comes out to about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours a week.
That a person has free time?
Free time, he gives myself his free time. And that he should spend doing, either giving a shir, learning with a week of Bachel, whatever it is, speaking to people, it doesn't make a difference.
Getting involved with Chazaq and care.
Getting involved with Chazaq, it's okay. That's a point. You know, if you have everybody doing so that much of time, you're having an army out there.
Yes. That's what we need. We need an army, Rosh Yeshiva, to bring back every single Heilig Neshama. Amazing insights, amazing chidush, amazing inspiration, Rabbi. One final message that we could ask Rosh Yeshiva, a timely message that we could give to our broader audience, to Ganze Klal Yisrael, to everyone watching. What does Rabbi want to leave us off with?
It's a tough question, and the only thing is, I'll give you what I thought you may have been wanted, and I don't know why I thought it, or it may be a next group coming about Chesed. Is that Avraham Avinu was the Abba Chesed, and Yitzchak and Rivka. I want to just shortly explain their Chesed. You have a big kasha. Avraham Avinu, how do you know that he was about Chesed? Because when the 3 Arabs, or the 3 Malachim, looking like Arabs, came, so what happened was that he went and he served them and did well. He got them. He got out of bed. He was able to overcome his weaknesses and stuff. Wonderful. Got one kasha. How come there was no bread in the house? I didn't have in my house. If anybody would come in and say, I'd say, would you like something to eat? You like something to think? I have in the refrigerator. I have cake. I have something, definitely something like more for him to eat. Right? You have nothing in the house. I have to first wake up my wife. I saw her go make a cake. And then what does he do? Second thing, he runs out and he goes and he knocks. Okay, very nice. You're going to make me a fleishik meal. You have to shecht it, you have to skin it, you have to butcher it, you have to treber it, you have to kasher it, because he lived all the mitzvahs, right? You have to, then you have to cook it. What about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours? How many hours you can give me for such a ma'isa? So what kind of chesed is that? You're asking me to wait 9 hours before you can give me something to eat. So it says the difference. I'll give you 2 scenarios. One scenario is, guy comes, he's on the east side, hospitals near the yeshiva, and it's a former hospital, so they had kosher food. So all the doctors, the former people, for babies would go to that hospital. So they go to the hospital. But it came Shabbos, and they can't take any food with them. So what do? So they walk down to the yeshiva, which is about a mile away, or the young Israel, whatever place they're in. He said, where can I get a meal for Shabbos? And they'll invite me. So they said, Shabbos will find you a guy. I said, go to him, he'll take it. Yes, a shus, and the guy comes, takes the house. In that house, they sat down, they had 5 types of meat, of fish, and that is not an exaggeration, because I have that sometimes. 4 types of soups that I don't have. They call it 5 types or 6 types of meat that I do have. And the desserts, how many desserts you can have, ice cream and fruit, and different types of pies, and tremendous, right? Oh, Hashem eats well there. Then I'll give you another scenario. Scenarios haven't seen a person like this town, or you weren't here when the Talmud walked in before, that hasn't been here in 30 years, haven't seen him, right? So he wants to come like and talk, of course. So in 30 years, so that would be, let's say it happened that you got to come to my house. What are you doing for breakfast? I'm going to go to the pizza store. What do you can get there? I got what do you call it? Coffee and a Danish. Now you got to come to my house. Take him to my house. Meanwhile, so I got to tell you, it's a Sunday, and it's the week off for the Shabbos off for the Bachram. So I wake up my wife and I say, my friend, I just met him by davening. I'll make him something to keep him busy. Meanwhile, I land in Yeshiva to make some scrambled eggs, some other thing there. But you got to get up and make something special for him. Whatever you think there. Then the bacher, you wake your bachers, going to the later minion, you go down, go over to the appetizing store and get every type of fish there is there. And once you get every type of bagel, every type of thing there, and bring it up. And he's packing all the stuff in, and this guy never ate so much in his life. And he says to him, whatever we made for you was only because, we're just rushing, wasn't done with plans. Come up for supper, please. We're going to serve you a roast you haven't eaten in years, and you have in your life, maybe. Okay, good. All right. He comes and both guys come and tell their wives what happened. Guy number 1 says, what happened? They eat well in that house. Didn't say they made it for me. Nothing was made for me. We made it for the house. I happen to partake of it. They eat well in that house. The second guy says, they didn't know what to do for me. Which guy felt mechubit? The first or the second? The second, obviously. So that's the whole point. If Avram Avinu wants them to feel special, I made it for you. So now what will be the problem? So what I serve them? I serve them the milk and the cream. But my family was ice cream. How do I know what they had in those times? And that what they had to keep them for the meal. Meanwhile, I'll give them whatever I got. I was going to give them whatever pancakes, whatever she was making for him. And then I'd make up the steak. It'll be ready for him whenever they're waiting for it. It happened to be they had a shorter cut, so they had the hot dog. But the Maisa would have been pretty good. That's what he wanted. He wanted to show him it was for you. You're a hush of a person. You're not a nobody. You just happen to come in. I happen to have some cake in here, so I have some cake. Doesn't mean anything. It's nothing personal involved. That's the point of Chesed Vavon. That's what we have. The Chesed of Rivke. Now, you have Eliezer. I assume was not a small guy. I mean, he had to run a whole estate of millions of avodim, probably. I'm not going to tell you about Cheshbon Rabbit, not Negeya, but a lot of avodim. And he probably has to have a strong hand, right? He's a big guy. And she's 3 years old. I don't care if they looked 20 when they stopped growing because Avram made the of aging. But whatever you're going to tell me, they made it before Yitzchak, so by Yitzchak already, so maybe it was aging already. But you can tell a 3-year-old and a 20-year-old, right? And a 100-year-old. There's something to it that there's going to be a little different in the look. No matter how tall you are, no matter how much you look, whatever it is. So this big guy comes over to this little girl, and he says to her, I'd like you to pour water into my mouth. Didn't say, loan me a pitcher so I can take a drink, I'll wash it out, I'll refill it for you. Didn't say that's the normal way you would ask it for, right? What did he say? I want you to pour water into my mouth. And then he's expecting for her to say also, I'm not going to go to Ashken Esher with it. So what does she do? She first gives him to drink. When he finishes drinking, it says, then she offers for the camels. Not till he finishes. I think what it means is, you may come up with like a bully. So if you're a bully, people agree to do a lot of things for you. I'm not scared of you. I don't agree to do things for you. I finished, and I was Mr. Bully. The only way you're going to drink is because I'm going to be poured into your mouth. How are you going to do this? I'm pouring it like this. How are you going to do it? Gee, he must be that tall. You should stand on a stone. Maybe I do. Maybe you stand on a stone. Maybe whatever. Maybe you want to lie down on the floor. You want to get on your knees. How are we going to do this? And so whatever it is, it doesn't make sense. But if that's the way you want it, I'll do it for you gladly. We'll solve the bullying situation immediately, instead of telling our kids that Ibshad is that when a kid don't let anybody take advantage of you when you go to school. So what is the guy? He becomes the bully, because I'm not going to let anyone take advantage of me. But how do you stop people doing that? Because I'll take advantage of them, so then they won't take advantage of me. If I create a bully, I'd say, you want to be a bully? Isn't they? I'm not talking about physical, just talking about bullying. They want to be the bully? I'll gladly do it for you, Mr. Bully. Now, how does the bully feel? He feels like a jerk. They think the guy's going to do me chesed, not doing it because I bullied into it. I don't feel good. That's Rivke, also chesed. Then there's Yitzchak's chesed. Yitzchak, they kick out. He had a very successful year. Avimelech tells him to leave. Meanwhile, before he does that, the wells that he had from Avram Avinu, they filled up with sand. Right? So he moves away. He goes to Nachal Gro. And what does he do? He goes back and opens up all those wells. And he goes in, and then goes to his own place to find wells. Why do you do that? They hate him. I know you need the water. The only reason you did it is want to get rid of me. Okay, but I know you need the water. I'm going to give you the chesed for you. That's Yitzchak. That's what we have to live up to. Those are the three chasodim. With the good word, the thing, make people feel good. That's the main thing. If people feel good, they become friendship. It becomes a great thing. Marriage is a wonderful thing. Make people feel good.
Amazing. Wow. Yeshakach v'shishiva shlita. What chizuk, what inspiration. The final message is that everyone should get involved with chesed. Make others feel good.
That's for sure.
That's for sure. Amazing. If we could end up with a bracha to all the viewers.
Everybody should be matzliach
Amen.
And mizaychet to be a skilled tzedek meher b'yamein.
Amen. Amen. Yeshakach. Thank you.